gigantic win.
Well, it was a bigger loss for Florida State than it was a big win for number 9 ranked Notre Dame. I mean,
Right.
But making
at this point, I mean, you can throw them out the way. Outside of Alabama. Outside of Alabama, who should have won by far and away right now based on how they look.
hey, but what's crazy is Florida State actually looked like Florida State last night. I mean, I gotta be honest with you.
Would it be the missed field goal?
Yes, yes, it was good. They were good enough for a missed field goal to matter. I mean, if you really think about it, they pushed it wide left. Historically, it was wide right.
How many, was it 3 straight times?
Which I thought was very peculiar that they did not even set it up or high. They were so busy talking about Buddy's leg and his knee.
Yeah.
They talked about it for the entire time he was in the game. The entire time. Not what plays he made, not what it meant to the game or whatever. It's just all about the kid's leg. I thought it was going to be interesting for them to parallel that moment of the game to all of the, like, those are, you're talking about Notre Dame kept Florida State from winning a national title off of some of these missed kicks, right? And they didn't say anything about it.
And the Miami-Florida State games were always wide right, wide left. It always did when it came down to it.
But that was Notre Dame. Like, there's a famous moment in time where Florida State misses and loses to Notre Dame.
So they wanted to talk about Mackenzie Melton's, return to action. I mean, that's a big moment, LeVar. I don't know why you're so heartless about it. Why do you have to be so hard?
We need to execute those people.
Oh, come on!
We need to execute those people who did not play that. They did not. Wait. There was a lack of execution on that moment. It was a missed moment. They need to execute the people that didn't do it.
Can I be honest with you about that quote?
Yes.
I was more offended by the fact that Coach Kelly used a quote from a USC head coach than I was with what he said. Like, that was more offensive. Look, I heard they didn't even take the plane back. They didn't need to, apparently. I think there's no one to take back himself.
A lot of leg room, you know?
This is the world we live in now. It's where, I understand we're all soft, everyone's offended, but come on. Like, if you don't know history, you don't know the background of it, go educate yourself, Go educate. And I think for most Notre Dame fans, their perspective is we were up 18. We were up 18. Florida State did nothing to come back into that football game. I hate to rain on their parade. There was a lack of execution. There was a lack of defensive play call. LeVar, I know you watched the game.
I did.
There had to have been a point where Florida State continually ran the ball down their throat, and you're looking at Notre Dame playing with a 5-man box, 5 men around the line of scrimmage to stop the run. Well, obviously, they're going to run the football down your throat if that's your defensive game plan by Marcus Freeman. So there was a lot of reasons I think you could look at that game and say Notre Dame gave a lot of that away. The Michael Mayer drops early on a 3rd down, late in the game, too, where it would have put them in position to end it in regulation. There was a lot of things I think you could look at and go, there's instances where Notre Dame could have put that away, and they didn't. The fact that Florida State hung in there, credit to them, credit to Mike Norvell. But I think both sides will look at that film today, probably pretty disappointed in some of the execution.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. Out of everything that I didn't remember from that game, Kyle Hamilton is a name that I will remember from that game. I haven't seen a guy, and I love doing this because people get so upset when I do it. It was Sean Taylor-esque. To go from one, like, if you understand football, for a kid to have the savvy, the awareness, the understanding, and then the athleticism and the ability to do what that kid did on that play where he was on the opposite hash. He was
opposite safety and quarters.
He was playing the opposite hash, ran the quarterback all the way through, turned the Jets on because the quarterback was committed to doing what he was going to do, and got a pick on the opposite sideline, and then took his helmet off. It was so Jewish. It was so Jewish. It was as Jewish as it gets, and it was in the Notre Dame uniform. But let me tell you something. That kid is a guy. He is a guy. I was so impressed with him, man. He just kept showing up.
Well, and he has since he got to Notre Dame. I remember seeing him a couple of years ago as a freshman, and I told people then, I said, he's gone. Sheesh. Enjoy him while you got him because he's gone in 3 years. He's got those natural ball instincts. And that's the funny thing is that particular play, he bailed out the cornerback on that side of the field.
Yes, he did, because he undercut it.
Yeah, and it usually never happens. Like, it never happens where the backside safety is running across the field. Like, maybe the safety on that side of the field, because he's got his quarters deep, his deep quadrant of the field, you never see that. So the way he played, honestly, I think kind of bailed out Marcus Freeman at times.
Ooh.
It really did, if you look at that debut for Notre Dame's defense, which I think if you look at their old defensive coordinator, Clark Lee, went to Vanderbilt, they just lost to East Tennessee State, I think. So maybe he wishes he could come back at this point in time. But that game, as a Notre Dame fan, as much as you're happy to come away with a win, and there's some things to build off of. Clearly, Jack Cohn, the way he played, the downfield passing game. What about Kevin Austin? What about some of these receivers they've got now that they can stretch the field vertically? There's something to be said about that. But concerns about the O-line going into the game, still coming out of it, defensively, all that. There's a lot of things to work on, I think, for a team that has aspirations to get back to the playoffs.
I just love that they keep giving the ACC that work. Just keep giving them the work. Just, oh, yeah, we'll let you in for 1 year. Cool, we're in your championship game, and we beat Clemson last year, and then they open up this year, and they beat Florida State. By the way, the Bobby Bowden fedora on the field, nice touch. That was awesome. Now, you mentioned the Brian Kelly comment. So, John McKay had a legendary quote years ago. I think this is when he was the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they were 0-16. They were a winless football team, and John McKay said, they asked him, so what do you think of your team's execution? He said, I'm in favor of it. All right, so one of the great all-time coach lines in history of football. But Brian Kelly afterwards spoke with ABC and tried to give his version of it, but it came out like this.
I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our Snyder